In this video, I'm going to talk about what you should do if people ain't buying your shit. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Mike Poglies, co-founder of Automated Coaching Engine, where we partner with transformational coaches to help them scale their businesses without spending money on shit platforms like Instagram and Facebook. So to dive on into the video here, just got off a little coaching session, Q&A session with the clients. One of them's talking about, Mike, like people aren't buying my shit. I'm thinking about creating a lower ticket offer or whatever. And I was like, look, let's not burn the ship. If people are acknowledging, there's different points in the process that we can test. So if we think about it, we have our content on the very front end of the spectrum. Then we have the marketing sequence. Are we sending people messages? Do we have ads? What is the situation here? Then we have sales calls, and then we have the offer, so there's kind of like 4 points in a marketing campaign or a business sequence, a business campaign. And so step number 1, your content and stuff obviously should be really dialed in towards your niche, the person that you're trying to help, the transformation that you can provide, speaking to people, calling them out and getting them to DM you, take the next step, click the link in the bio, whatever that next step is. But number 2, we have the marketing side of things, where we're sending out messages or we're placing ads on Facebook or platforms, whatever, you're paying for ads or you're sending out messages. Those are the 2 forms of like real marketing combined with your content. Obviously you get some inbound traffic that way too, but unless you're like fucking Kid Rock or something like that, it's going to be really hard to get that traction, just by posting content, creating content. You're going to have to go into the trenches, message people, or suck it up, spend some money and pay for ads, which, by the way, ads are amazing. But if you don't have any fucking money to spend on ads, I highly suggest you don't do that, because you're going to go down a route of just blowing away cash, trying to figure out shit that works. I can almost promise you it's not going to work off the first rip. So that's a whole nother topic that we'll save for a later date, because this video is about what you should be doing if people ain't buying your shit. You look at the process, like what's the process that you have working in this client situation. We're doing some cold outreach, to directly to booking a call. And then we get on the call with that person. We pitch them. If they buy, they buy. If they don't, they don't, type of thing. So cool. Now we have some things that we can look at. We can start to like pick an angle of where we need to start optimizing, where we need to start adjusting things, and we can go from there. So, I started asking some questions. So I'm like, so are people responding to your outreach messages? Yes or no? She says yes. Are people booking calls with you? Yes or no? She says yes. Are people buying from you? No. Okay, cool. Maybe we need to create some more trust. Specifically, she mentioned that people are saying like, oh, I don't really know who you are, et cetera. And there's a lot that can go into that. I think a lot of it has to do with the offer, to be completely honest with you. But there's a few different places where we can start to test this, where we can start to adjust and add things or take away things that are going to help us build that like, know, and trust aspect. What I started to talk about is, let's try this. If people are responding to your messages, if people are booking calls, then you're creating enough interest to get them on the phone with. We need to just establish a little bit like, know, and trust before we can get them to buy. So how can we do that? We can insert a pre-call video. The pre-call video can be something that is sent automatically in the confirmations and reminders sequence. That's like, hey, my name is Mike. I help coaches do X, Y, and Z. Looking forward to talk to you. These are the people that we work with. Here's a little bit of my background, et cetera. So very short video, 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long maximum. That's basically covering who you are, what you do, the type of people that you work with, and the transformation that you provide to them. Now, from there, you've started to build that like, know, and trust. From there, you went from getting them booked on a calendar and then just getting on the phone with them, getting them booked on the calendar. They get a video of you, getting a little bit more background of who you are, how you help people, the people that you work with, et cetera. So if they actually show up on the call and they don't cancel that appointment, then it's likely that that was a benefit to that person. They saw something there. They said, okay, I can talk to this person now. Makes a little bit more sense as to how they can prep me. And it's basically going to like pre-frame the call. Like, I'm looking forward to chatting with you, et cetera, type language. And if you want an example of our pre-call video, just, shoot me a DM on social media or fucking text me or whatever. I'll be happy to shoot it over to you so you can see a real live example of what we use on our pre-call video. But going on, now we have a situation to where we're starting to build that like, know, and trust. And this is often like something that we talk about when it comes to a credibility standpoint. If you're new to social media, you don't have a lot of content posted, or you're new into accepting that you are a transformational coach, or you're a specific type of person and you're just starting to create content around that niche, that transformation that you provide, that topic, then you're going to be in a position to where you're fighting kind of that battle of credibility. People don't even really believe you, and it's more so because of the numbers behind your name, the type of content that you're creating, et cetera, et cetera. That's why you really have to fucking own what you do to take it to the next level. To be completely honest with you, it has to do with you accepting the fact of who you are, what you do, the transformation that you provide for people, and you just literally eat, sleep, and breathing that shit. That's why you always see me rocking the Automated Coaching Engine shirt, because this is my fucking brand. This is what I do, and I'm an expert at that shit. But going onward, so we're talking about, I think you should implement a pre-call video. A couple other things I think you should do is, let's split the calls up. Maybe the one call close is a little harsh for somebody that doesn't really know who you are. They don't really know and trust you. So let's do a couple of things. Like I said, we're getting people to respond to messages. We're getting them to book a calls, but they're not buying. So we take away the buying and we put in the pre-call video, and that's going to start to build that know and trust. Now we're also going to add in a 10-minute call, to basically establish authority, qualify the prospect to see if it's worth taking them to the next level, figuring out a little bit of their pain points, the goals that they're trying to achieve, etc. Ending the call with, all right, perfect. I don't want to take up all your time today, but what I do want to do is I did get enough information to where I can create a custom plan, a custom roadmap of how we can work together to accomplish your goals. And if all makes sense, we'll just get everything, signed up as far as the enrollment process. We'll get you plugged into the program. And, from there, we'll be able to, bang out this strategy together. But if we don't work together, the great thing is you can still leave the call with this strategy. You can go execute it on yourself, and hopefully you'll be able to achieve the goal by yourself. So put you into a standpoint where you're leaving them on a cliffhanger, but you're doing that because you're trying to build the know, and trust. You've sent them that pre-call video to establish it a little bit. You get them on the first call, the qualification call, to establish it a little bit more, share your story, background, connect with the person a little bit deeper on their personal level. And then now you're leaving them on a cliffhanger. Hey, I'm going to take this information. I'm going to create a custom roadmap that we can execute on together. Or, if you decide it's not the best fit, you can take it, you can execute on it yourself. So it's not a complete waste of time for showing up to the call tomorrow. But in the meantime, I'm going to send you another video I want you to check out. It's going to give you a little bit more information about who I am, what I do, how I help people, how I help them achieve their goals, and a little bit more based on the strategy that I typically use. Now, like I said, your strategy is going to be a little bit more custom, so it's not completely what we're going to be doing, but I just want to give you something to leave this call with. So this call specifically wasn't a complete waste. Does that make sense? Yes, perfect. Okay, cool. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about here on this video today. Basically, to sum it up, if you're in a standpoint of where people aren't buying from you, then it doesn't mean burn the whole fucking ship and start from ground zero. Figure out where in the process are they getting hung up. Okay, cool. We're getting traffic. People are saying yes, that they want to speak to me. We're actually getting them to book even better, but we're not getting them to book. So you have a problem with your offer or the know, and trust, them believing that you can actually take them through that transformation. That's where the real problem comes into play, is the belief. There's not enough belief there because you're not very credible on social media. Therefore, you need to do a little bit more know, and trust building. How can we do that? Establish a pre-call video, make it a 2-call close instead of a 1-call close. And in between the 2 calls, deliver them a piece of information that they can take, learn a little bit more about you. Then you come into the second call with a custom plan that's not really custom because you take everybody on this fucking path, which is even better, but it's custom to them because it's got their name on it. And from there, you're able to come in a very personable way. The know, and trust has been built over a series of time through a series of different things. Video 1, call 1, video 2, and now you're coming on call 3. So it's almost like 4 chances that you've spoken with this person, you've connected with this person, and you're establishing that know, and trust. So with that being said, if you're having problems with people buying your shit, it doesn't mean that you have to tear down the complete offer. It doesn't mean you need to start over from scratch. All you need to do is figure out where the problem is starting at, and then where you can optimize. And say, for example, if it was an issue with messaging, people weren't responding, then you need to start changing the language of your messaging, get people to respond to you. And then if people start to respond to you and they're not booking, then you need to do another layer. You need to do another layer of follow-ups or getting in front of them, giving them a little bit more pressure to book that call. Then if people aren't buying, like I said, we can implement other things to build that know, and trust. And if people aren't buying from you from then it really has to do with the offer. You need a strong guarantee, a no-brainer offer, and that's what the fuck we do here at Automated Coaching. So hope you all got some fucking value here. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, share it to to a friend, send it to another friend. I know you coaches out there, man, you're connected with hundreds of coaches, man. Send your boy old Mikey P over into their inbox, man. Give myself a little bit of love and then share with a friend. That's the fee here, just like old Andy Frisella talks about. So y'all have a great fucking day.